Overall, I am slightly more optimistic than the last time I was here.
Good.
And I'm slightly more optimistic because I think almost everyone is wrong in what they imagine the metaverse is, right? Like, I'll go through a bunch of statements that are wrong. It's about virtual reality. No, I don't think so. It's about augmented reality. I mean, a little closer, but not exclusively. It's about 3D spaces. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. My definition's simpler. The metaverse will be the internet, but with better visualization and persistent digital objects. And so better visualization means you don't have to take the decision today on, is it AR, is it VR, is it 3D in the browser? It'll be all of these things, right? Mm-hmm. I've been using the internet for a long time, and it used to be very exciting when you could watch a, 120 by 120 grainy movie on it. And now you can watch like 4K Netflix movies. If we were doing this same thing we're doing today, 20 years ago, it'd be a conference call, right? Like here we have free global video conferencing. I can see you on my screen. But in 10 years, I'll probably see you at my desk.
Yeah.
Right? Or we'll see you in or we'll see you somewhere, right? All we know for sure is visualization is going to get better. I think the practical edge of better today is 3D in the browser. I think in some arbitrary future, I don't know how many years, we will have sufficient miniaturization of sufficient computation that we'll have under glasses and maybe even someday contact lenses, and we'll be in augmented mixed reality all day long, and even the idea of a screen is going to go away, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it matters when these things happen, right? And nothing that I'm promoting as a concept is dependent on the specific visualization pathway. And I've had this discussion with some people, and they're like, oh, I mean, I hear you on this metaverse stuff, but I like living in the real world. I don't want to live in VR.
They don't understand that their phone, the screen that they use, everything is all the same digitization of our lives.
That's the first thing I ask. How many hours a day how many waking hours a day are you looking at a screen? And for most people, it's the majority. If you're a white-collar professional, if you're not out like working in the fields, right, or on a construction site, if you're a desk job type of person like we are, the large majority of my waking hours, I'm looking at my phone or looking at my computer screen. Well, when I'm looking at that screen, where am I? Am I in the physical world or am I in the digital world? Right? My view is I'm in the digital world. I'm already there. Right? And what we're saying is that digital world will become nicer, better. It's more human that I can see you now than if we're just doing a conference call. Right? It'll be even better when I can see you full size and not the size of a fraction of my screen. It'll be even better someday when we have contact lenses and there'll be no screens anywhere, right? We'll just be living our lives in the physical world. And when we want a certain object, show me that spreadsheet, show me this Fidenza, it will just show up in our physical world, right? Because still, if you want to do serious work, I think it's hard to do serious work on a phone, right? You probably need a laptop at least.
Yeah.
And
maybe we're just too old for it.
maybe. I still need, if I'm going to start, I don't know, making an Excel or something.
I need a computer.
I need a computer. Yeah. Maybe there's like 18-year-olds that can, make tables in Excel efficiently on their phone. I find that it just slows me down a lot, right?
Yeah.
So even just the idea of like you're hunched over on a desk, typing on a laptop, the current situation is the one that's taking you out of the physical world. A world where you can infuse your field of vision with digital objects is a world where I think it's going to be much better, right? You'll come back to the physical world, into society, into the people around you, and it won't be, I'm walking down the beach with my friends and also I'm checking my tweets and I'm looking at my phone and I'm not looking at the sea, and people are like, oh, look, there he is again, stuck on his phone. Here he goes again, right? That's the visualization part. Now, with that visualization gets better. The utility, the value of digital objects goes up. And digital objects could be anything.
Yeah, this is where people get hung up. They immediately assume it's your your Bored Ape or your Punk or something else. And that's just the early manifestation. It's every digital object, right?
It'll start with, just off the top of my head, what we call PFPs, right? But I think in time, these will become avatars, right? In time, I think they'll be three-dimensional, not two-dimensional. The most easy for people to understand, I have found, because it's working now and it's a zero mental model leap, is digital art. I have a piece of art on my physical wall. I have a piece of art on my computer screen, and that can go into various digital spaces. And when we get to the point that this discussion is a mutual augmented reality discussion, right? I can make my digital art appear in your field of vision. That's pretty cool, right? You can swipe it away if you don't like, that's fine, right? But that's going to be pretty cool. I can't do that with my physical art. But also, I'm going to say, come into my office, but just like I now have a virtual museum for my digital art and the beginnings of a virtual classroom for the course we're doing with the University of Nicosia, there's also will be a virtual office, a virtual team space, a virtual conference room, a virtual presence for most businesses. The University of Nicosia is thinking what does a metaverse campus look like? Right?
Yeah. Without question, that's coming, right?
It's coming. And then, so you say, okay, got it. This is what the world will look like. It's great. The question that I care about, the only thing I care about, the only thing that's driving any of this stuff, is what is the architecture of that world? Because nobody in a position of power is actually thinking intelligently about any of this, right? They're all at least a generation behind in what issues they're worried about. And the time that the architecture will be developed is right now. The time that the network effects on the architecture have to be established is when it's way too early. And this is the advantage of having gone through multiple tech cycles. When people were when Fred Wilson was musing, should Twitter be a protocol or a service? I believe the average intelligent, non-tech, non-VC person would say, who cares? This is some stupid service. People are tweeting about what they did in their day. Oh, so-and-so Raoul went out to lunch in San Francisco and bought a ham sandwich. Why would anyone want to read that? It was dumb. This is I'm going to go back and read my Wall Street Journal, right? Nobody's interested in this stuff. But it turns out it was less than a decade from there to every world leader fights to maintain their access to Twitter because that's their most important channel to communicate to the world. Right? The reason there's a big fight about Trump's Twitter account is that there was a big advantage for him having it and a big disadvantage for him not having it, which is why it became a big political fight. If it was irrelevant, no one would care. Right? The same thing's happening now with digital objects. Right now, it's who cares about these overpriced cartoon monkeys? Right? The tech bros have lost their mind again, or the crypto bros are money laundering again. I don't know. So this is how could that monkey be worth $100,000? They're money laundering, right? They're wash trading, right? That's the outside view, and the inside view is no, digital objects, digital culture will be real, and it's very early, and so it's very volatile, and so the social construction of what culture turns out to be important in the future is very volatile. It's like startups. And because these are cultural objects that at some level trade 24/7, and they trade not on cash flows, right? They're not like a financial instrument. They're like pure culture. They trade on sentiment, I guess, right? Social construction. Well, they're super volatile. So they go up a lot, they go down a lot. And people say oh, well, this is crazy. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's a manifestation of human behavior, and we are crazy. We're quite emotional monkeys.
We hope you enjoyed the video. At Real Vision, we help you understand the complex world of finance, business, and the global economy with in-depth analysis from real experts. Join the revolution at realvision.com.